So give us your name and who you're with.
Okay, I'm Josh Pedersen. I'm the CEO of United Way here in Frederick County.
Oh, you're CEO of all of United Way.
Just here in Frederick County.
Oh, Frederick County,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
Well, now, but the 211 thing, what's your job with them?
I serve on the board of directors for 211.
Ah, I see. For the state?
For the state of Maryland.
Right.
But I've also been involved with 211 since its inception about 10 or so years ago. Yeah.
I mean, right, when I heard about it, I just think it was the neatest thing. I thought I'd be out of business, you know, what do they need me for? Because 211. So give us a little capsule what 211 does for folks.
There's a lot of community programs out there, a lot of human services. You're aware of a lot of great programs, but it's hard to find them. With so many programs, so many of them are identified by a mere acronym. And we think, oh, let's make this easier. Let's add a 1-800 number to it. And then they throw in a couple letters to the 1-800 number and you have no idea where to begin. So what 211 does, it's kind of like a roadmap to help navigate the maze of human services. There's so much out there, and 211 is that first step that you can start off with and get connected to all of the other community resources. Well,
now you say human services and community resources. You and I know what that is with the average person. I mean, can I get my lawn mowed or what kind of stuff going on there?
Interestingly, because 211 keeps a database on all the programs out there, they can help a person navigate that maze. And maybe in a community, the aging services does offer lawn mowing.
You're right.
So,
exactly.
yes, absolutely.
Right.
But and that's the cool thing about 211 is it connects you to what you may not already know about.
So it's for like what government agencies or nonprofit organizations are in your community that could help you solve problems in life. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It gets you in that front door, helps you get connected, whether you're looking for help with housing assistance or utilities or food programs, domestic violence, substance abuse counseling.
So they're going to turn off my utility bill or my utility. I mean, this is the number you call.
Exactly. You pick up the phone and call 211, and they'll let you know if there's a government program or if there's a church that helps. They kind of assess your situation, prioritize what you need, and then help you get connected to the right place.
Wow. Well, I mean, I always sort of knew it does that. That's why I love talking to people, because it really drives it home, you know, how important these things are. So what are the other, I mean, now I guess it's food more than ever.
Yeah, food is
for low income. And how about even if you're not destitute? I mean, is it helpful for there? I mean, say I guess you said like family abuse or something like that is a good place to go to find out, solve that problem.
Yeah, it really is kind of a social utility for everybody. It's for people that are looking for help if they've got some immediate crisis going on, like food or utility assistance or paying the rent or just trying to understand, okay, my house is in foreclosure, what is the program out there? I hear about it, but I don't know where to start. 211 is the place to start. But for
so
families,
you don't need me then. I'm going to be out of business.
You're all part of the system. You help us get connected. But it's also for families that, you know, maybe they're struggling with an illness or a long-term care issue, caring for an aging parent. There's some long-term care resources out there. Maybe it's a support group if you're if you're looking for some support on a chronic illness and you're wondering how to get connected with other people, they have access to the support group networks out there that are available. So
it's a basic clearinghouse for all the nonprofits in the area. Who's got money to do what kind of stuff?
Yep.
And they don't have advertising money.
They don't have a lot of advertising money, and that's why 211 is kind of that front door. And it's like a clearinghouse, and they really try to keep up to date on, okay, this program's out of funds for a couple months, but this one may have something for you. So if you run into a dead end, it's always good to call 211 back. That's what's kind of
I see. So if you don't get help today, you call in a couple weeks and
see if there's something else.
Because things change all the time.
Yep, they'll do some creative problem solving with you. Another cool thing about 211 is you get to talk to someone.
A real person.
A real person on the phone.
No kidding.
They can answer calls and interpret an interpreter in and respond to calls in up to about 180 different languages.
Oh, is this a national number you're calling when you call us, or local?
Yes, it is. It's locally here in Maryland, but it's also national. There's about 87% of our population in America can dial 211.
Wow, 87%.
So almost every state has 100% coverage.
If my mom was in Colorado, an older senior citizen has trouble with a roof, can I call 211 there?
Yes.
And find out about stuff like that, so you can use it that way too.
Exactly.
Not only your own community, but but helping people in other communities.
Yeah. And that's what, if you relocate to a community and you're wondering, where do I get started, getting the kids enrolled and finding school supplies.
So even non-emergency stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh. And when you say, like for Frederick or whatever, Maryland, like how many calls do they get?
Across the country, we take about 16 million calls each year.
Wow.
There's a lot of people, about 3 or 4% of the population that calls and asks us for help. Here in Maryland, we take closer to about 300,000 calls each year. Wow. So it varies depending on advertising. It also varies depending on the need. We really foresaw the mortgage crisis before it really hit the public, because we started to get a lot of calls of people asking for.
So you're a leading indicator of what's going on out there.
Yeah, it's kind of a barometer of what the need is, and we can tell you, okay, now the real issue is rent. A lot of people have been displaced, but they still need help with rent. So it's one of our number one
I
calls.
think it would be good to get a hold of these folks and your folks and get the answers to those top 5 questions that are coming in. Do you have anything online too, or is it all on the phone?
Yes, 211.org is the national portal, so you can find your local statewide organization. And then here, most states have an entire database and they have all their information available. So you can search through the database of 1,400, 1,500 different programs that might be available and find out which one's the best for you. But if you're struggling, call us. That's what's so cool.
The hours is to get somebody on the phone.
Here in Maryland, we're 24/7.
No
so you can call 24/7.
Wow, that's better than the IRS.
Yeah, 24/7, 180 languages.
We're 180 languages.
We're going to help you get connected. We don't. It's a roadmap. We don't want any orange cones or barriers to keep you from getting the help you need. We think that if you can give people information early on, it prevents a complicated problem later down the road. Yeah. So,
what is it? I mean, I've heard of it, and what kind of misconceptions do you think? I mean, what keeps people calling that maybe should? I mean, is it just knowledge, not knowing it's available, or are there any other mental bugaboos people have about this?
I've heard it's the best kept secret out there. So
well, let's scream a little.
Let's scream a little. It shouldn't be a secret. But some people are shy about asking for help, and it's sometimes tough when you're newly needing some services or some help to ask for that first time.
So it's an embarrassment factor more than anything, that people don't go for the help.
But what's cool is it's an anonymous call. You will probably ask you some questions about your situation.
My brother's in a lot of financial trouble.
And we do ask some questions to kind of get to the root of the problem and make sure we send you on the right way, get you on the right track. But it is an anonymous call, so it's a good way to explore and ask if there's something available. I've had people call up and they may be in a domestic violence situation and they're not going to share that up front. And that's okay, but
my wife's beating the hell out of me.
But we'll try to ask some questions, get to the root of the problem, and then hopefully you can feel comfortable calling back if you need to as well.
Oh, I see. Now, the top issues are the ones we mentioned, or are there other little ones in there that are your top 5? Right?
Housing and utilities are probably the biggest issues. Food comes in right after that. Substance abuse, counseling, some of those issues
counseling
are really whether it be mental health counseling, not a lot of low-cost counseling services, and that can be pretty expensive if your insurance doesn't, if you don't have it, or if your insurance doesn't cover it. So how to access some of those counseling programs, and then also substance abuse treatment, recovery, prevention programs like that.
So another, say the place when I went, I should go into alcohol recovery or abuse program, and they say I'm not covered by insurance and stuff like that. So this would be a place to call to see if there are any programs I could get in for something like that.
And one concern is there's not always a program out there. Sometimes I hope that I'll call up and they'll, you're going to pay all my bills.
Right, exactly. There's no magic.
But what is cool about it is it's kind of that roadmap and help you get on the right path and say, well, there's not a program for this, but we can get you connected with maybe something else, or be creative about solving some of the other
I think that's the key to information. That everybody has this one idea, you know, all I need is $100,000, I'm going to solve every problem in the world, and there's other ways to do it, because that's just going to take too much work, and you're not going to live long enough to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But so you guys work like that. So the people are trained to be on the phone, I mean, not just...
Yeah, all the calls are answered by a trained information specialist, where they really try to understand what's available in the community. Again, help you assess, prioritize, and get you connected to the right place. They're a good group of people. They've got a database, but they also just got this incredible, I guess, knowledge of what's out there. And again, you're always welcome to call back. If one of those resources didn't work out and you run into a dead end, check that roadmap again and call 211.
Now, how is that different from the reference services at the library?
You know, 211 wants to know and connect with a lot of those reference services as well. So we actually work closely and get you connected. But what's the number for the library again?
Exactly,
so call 211 and get you started.
And go to the library.
Yeah.
Or do you, how about elected officials? Do they use you or push people to 211 to try to solve a problem? Because I assume they get a lot of these kind of questions too, the elected officials.
They do get a lot of those questions, and whether it be an elected official, a case manager, or somebody else delivering or trying to even help a neighbor, 211 is a good resource to say, hey, this is a tool to help you get on the right path. So absolutely.
Where does the money come from for these things?
211s are funded, it's a nonprofit, and so funded with a variety of sources. And United Way is a big supporter and is one of the primary funders for 211. But community foundations, private foundations, a lot of community donors that will step up. Sometimes a government entity will say, hey, instead of us starting another 1-800 number, why don't you answer our calls with regards to health, you know, the H1N1 issues, or
so then you'll get a contract from them to do something like that?
So in some cases they'll get a contract.
Are you heavily subsidized? Is there some grant in the federal government for this, or your grants really come mostly from nonprofits? Mostly from nonprofits. There's not a big federal subsidy there. So. But it sounds like a federal thing would be doing. The other thing is the GSA has a number, I forget what the heck, Fed Info or something like that. But they're not help. I mean, they're just like how to get a patent or something like that. Or pamphlet. Right, a pamphlet. That's the GSA stuff. Well, you guys are just terrific. So is there anything else that people should know about this or support you guys? Or you know, it's a great resource as we go along and might need a community resource or a problem that comes up in your own life. In addition, like after a disaster, and you think, okay, 911 is there, they're going to help me out. But 211 is also a great resource. Maybe after the cleanup crew's gone and you're still wondering, how do I pick up the pieces? 211 is also a great resource. After Katrina and Rita, 211 was there for the year and 2 years after the fact, helping families get back on their feet. It's kind of that long-term sustainable resource. I guess there's millions of nonprofit organizations out there that are trying to solve problems in this country. Yes, and how do you find them all? 211 is that front door. I really think the success story written at so many of our community programs and nonprofits, I think that the first chapter of those success stories are written when people call 211. Wow. It's really a place if I have a nonprofit trying to solve a problem, I probably want to make sure you guys know about me. Yes, it's a great place. Make sure you get we're proactive and we want to find out about all these programs. But if a nonprofit calls us up and says, hey, we want to be listed in your database, we want to keep it current, all the better. Oh, wonderful. Great stuff. I'm going to use this stuff. You don't need me. I'm going to charge you some money. He'll do it for free.